There comes a moment in life when you realize that not every hand reaching toward you is reaching to help you. Some hands are there to take. Some voices sound like comfort while quietly carrying your secrets somewhere they were never meant to go. And some people will call themselves your friend simply because they have learned how much you are willing to give. So listen carefully. You do not have to hate people to stop trusting them blindly. You do not have to become cold. You do not have to close every door. You simply have to become wise about who you allow to walk through it, because friendship is not proven by how loudly someone says, "I'm here for you." Friendship is revealed in the moments when there is nothing to gain from staying. It is revealed when your success does not make them smaller, when your boundaries do not offend them, when your absence does not become an opportunity for gossip, when your vulnerability does not become ammunition. Life will teach you this lesson quietly at first. You will notice the little things, the strange silence when you succeed, the sudden interest when you have something to offer, the way someone remembers your mistakes but forgets your kindness. And one day, you will understand that some people were never walking beside you. They were simply walking close enough to see what they could take. But do not let betrayal teach you to distrust the entire world. Let it teach you to trust yourself. Trust the feeling you ignored. Trust the pattern you kept explaining away. Trust what someone's actions have been saying while their words kept telling another story you are not required to give everyone access to your heart just because they ask for it. Some people deserve your kindness from a distance. Some deserve your respect without your secrets. Some deserve a place in your life only after time has proven that their presence is safe. And perhaps the greatest freedom is realizing that you can walk away without becoming bitter. You can wish someone well and still choose not to travel with them because your peace is not a public resource. Your trust is not something everyone is entitled to. And your heart is not a waiting room for people who have never learned how to value what they find there. So, from this moment forward, do not ask, how much do they say they care about me? Ask something deeper. What have they consistently shown me? Because words can introduce a person, but patterns reveal them. And when you finally learn to watch the patterns, you will stop begging people to prove that they love you, and start choosing the people who never make you question whether you are safe in their presence. One of the hardest lessons you can learn about people is that a smile is not always a sign of friendship. Someone can laugh with you, listen to you, compliment you, and still not wish you well. This does not mean you should become suspicious of everyone. It means you must learn the difference between friendliness and loyalty, between attention and genuine care, between someone enjoying your presence and someone respecting your heart. Person can be pleasant because they want access to you. They may want your connections, your knowledge, your resources, your emotional support, or the comfort of knowing that you will always be available. Their words may sound warm, but their behavior reveals something different. When you are struggling, they disappear. When you succeed, they become strangely quiet. When you share good news, they find a reason to minimize it. When you reveal something vulnerable, they remember it later, not to protect you, but to use it when it benefits them. This is why trust should never be built on charm alone. Charm can be performed. Kindness can be imitated. Promises can be spoken in seconds. But consistency takes time. Watch how someone behaves when they do not need anything from you. Watch how they speak about people who are not present. Watch whether they respect boundaries when you say no. Watch whether they can celebrate your happiness without turning your success into a competition. Watch whether they protect your words when there is nothing stopping them from sharing them. These moments tell you more than 1,000 declarations of friendship. And remember, discovering that someone is not truly your friend does not mean you failed. Sometimes you believed the best in someone before they showed you the truth. Your openness was not weakness. Your willingness to trust was not foolishness. What matters is what you do after the truth becomes visible. Do not waste your life trying to force sincerity out of someone who has shown you indifference. You cannot convince another person to possess a character they have no desire to develop. You cannot love someone into loyalty. You cannot give enough of yourself to make an untrustworthy person trustworthy. Instead, become observant without becoming cruel. Become careful without becoming closed. Let people earn access to you through time, consistency, accountability, and respect. The goal is to stop calling everyone your friend before they have earned the name. Genuine friend may disappoint you sometimes, because everyone is imperfect, but they will not make your trust feel like a mistake. So let people reveal themselves. Stop rushing to explain their behavior. Stop making excuses for patterns that hurt you. Give time the opportunity to uncover what words cannot. The moment you understand that not everyone who smiles with you belongs beside you, you begin protecting something priceless, your peace and your ability to trust wisely. Trust is one of the most valuable things you can give another person. And that is precisely why it should never be handed over simply because someone asks for it. People may say, "Trust me," but genuine trust does not come from a sentence. It comes from evidence. It grows slowly through consistency, honesty, respect, and the quiet repetition of actions that prove a person's character when nobody is watching. Too often, we trust people because they speak with confidence. We believe promises because they sound sincere. We mistake strong words for strong character. But words are easy. Anyone can make promises when emotions are high. Anyone can tell you that they will never leave, never betray you, never hurt you. The real question is, what happens after the conversation ends? What happens when keeping their promise becomes inconvenient? What happens when telling the truth costs them something? What happens when your success gives them no benefit? That is where character begins to speak. Consistency is the language that trust understands. A trustworthy person does not need to constantly announce that they are loyal. Their behavior demonstrates it. They show up when they say they will. They respect your boundaries even when those boundaries prevent them from getting what they want. They keep your private conversations private. They do not change their personality depending on who enters the room. They do not celebrate you publicly while secretly hoping you fail. This is why you should stop measuring people by their intentions alone. Measure them by their patterns. Someone may tell you they care about you, but do they listen when you speak? Someone may say they respect you, but do they respect your decisions? Someone may call you a friend, but do they defend your name when you are absent? Someone may promise to support your dreams, but what happens when those dreams become bigger than theirs? You do not need to interrogate everyone who enters your life. You simply need to observe. Time has a way of removing masks. The person who is pretending eventually becomes tired of pretending. The person who is sincere does not need a performance. Their character remains recognizable across different circumstances. And this understanding can save you from many unnecessary wounds. Do not rush intimacy. Let people earn deeper access to your life. Let them demonstrate who they are before you give them the parts of yourself that cannot easily be reclaimed. You can be kind without being completely open. You can love people without trusting them with everything. You can forgive someone without giving them the same access. Again, trust should be a bridge built from both sides. When someone repeatedly demonstrates honesty, respect, and reliability, you can gradually walk farther across that bridge. But when their actions repeatedly contradict their words, you have every right to stop walking. There is wisdom in patience. There is strength in observation. And there is freedom in realizing that you do not have to decide immediately who deserves your deepest trust. Let time answer that question for you. Because when trust is earned through consistency rather than demanded through words, your relationships become safer, deeper, and far more worthy of your heart. There is a particular kind of loneliness that can make you accept people who were never good for you. It is the loneliness that whispers, "At least someone is here." It convinces you that a harmful connection is better than an empty room, that being surrounded by people is better than standing alone, and that you should tolerate disrespect simply because you are afraid of having nobody beside you. But loneliness is not a reason to surrender your standards. Sometimes the wrong company is more painful than solitude. You can sit at a crowded table and still feel completely unseen. You can have dozens of contacts in your phone and still have nobody you trust with your truth. You can laugh with people every day and return home feeling emotionally exhausted because you are constantly performing a version of yourself that they will accept. That is not connection. That is survival. You must learn that being alone is not the same thing as being abandoned. Solitude can become a place where you hear yourself again. It can give you the space to remember what you believe, what you want, what you will no longer tolerate.